Hyderabad and Bangalore taking on each other. The match being played in Hyderabad, and for the Royal Challengers Bangalore, it's going to be a huge game. They've lost 2 on the bounce, and they'll be seething after that second loss in particular. So they'll need to come back against a strong Hyderabad unit.
Yeah, I think Sunrisers Hyderabad are probably the best thinking team. You know, with Tom Moody as coach, Kane Williamson as the skipper, and they've got David Warner, who, whatever he did in that year off, he was probably hitting a lot of balls, because he's hitting the ball as well as I've ever seen him. And you know, once you've got someone like that with a bit between the teeth, Johnny Bairstow's starting nicely, so that's a good combination at the top of the order. And they've got good variables. Rashid Khan's outstanding in T20 cricket, and they're a real clever team. They used Rashid Khan against Josh Butler in the last game because they thought it was a good matchup. It worked. So you always feel with the Sunrisers, or I think that they're always going to be strategically well placed with all the thinking that they do. And it's not all on analytics, it's on real clever cricket thinking of what they feel are going to be the hard matchups when they come up against the different teams. So they'll change it again tomorrow. I don't know what the combination will be, but it certainly won't be the same as the last game.
Well, let's try and surmise on that, because remember, they had to make a change with Kane Williamson coming in, so hence Shakib Al Hasan had to make way in this game. So now, how do you see this? You've got options in there, got Billy Stanlake as an option. So do you see Stanlake not an option at the moment? Do you see any of these changes happening for tomorrow's game? You said yes, but where do you think?
Well, it might not be in terms of the 11. It may be the same 11, but they might just have different matchups to the players that they're playing against. You know, they might fancy someone different to go after Virat Kohli. You know that you've got to keep AB de Villiers very difficult, by the way. But you know, they'll be thinking overnight of who's going to be that bowler to try and dislodge Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers. Who's going to be able to get them out? If you keep them in for a period of time on the Royal Challengers Bangalore side, you know that they're going to create an impact in the game. So Tom Moody and his think tank, Kane Williamson, will be having dinner this evening thinking, right, what do you reckon, pal? Who's going to get Virat Kohli out? Who's going to get AB de Villiers out? And they'll try and come up with a solution tomorrow.
So planning there, but what about the planning? I mean, they'll have put aside that last game very quickly. What will be the mindset there? And because Virat Kohli likes to say that, listen, I'm having faith in my players even though we've lost 2 on the bounce.
Yeah, but it's a tough one, because if they lose 3, this is going to be, really downhill from them. They've perennially underachieved, and I think there's a lot of pressure. And I think this is a problem of Virat as a captain. He tends to take pressure on himself. Some captains do, he wants to take it by the bit and try and do it all himself. It's not always possible. They'll need a really, really big performance, because remember, the big difference with this Sunrisers side is they're probably 90% or 85% of where they were as a bowling unit, but they're about 120% of where they are as a batting unit. They're a far more formidable batting unit this year than they were last year. And that
Death bowling still a problem for Bangalore?
Death bowling is always going to be, I don't know why. I mean, it's probably something in the Chinnaswamy air that, they get it and they practice, they just can't seem to bowl at the death. I think that they will. Some interesting signs. I think young Shivam Dubey, there is a player to watch out for. But the big thing about it is you're never going to, what Bangalore has always traditionally won by is big single individual performances. Gale gets a big 175, Virat gets a 140, somebody gets big runs, Umesh gets 4 wickets. And these guys,
Stark used to come up with
exactly. Whereas these guys win with 3, 4, 5 little performances, 70 here, 2 for here. Rashid Khan always chips in, and that's why more people contributing is always going to give you more consistent performances, and that's
they somehow got to find a combination at the top of the order that just gets them off to a start. So all the pressure isn't on Virat and AB de Villiers. Moeen Ali went at the top just the other day. He looked like he was just starting to find a bit of form. I like Moeen Ali at the top. Those first 6 overs, he's a gifted player. But they've somehow got to try and find a little bit more than just AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli. If those 2 arrive and have a great day, well, you're going to win the game. But you can't always rely on that pairing just doing all the work for you with the bat in hand.
You can't see too much on the bench there that is actually looking as if, wow, there's a threat coming from there.
Yeah, you could. What you could do is, I can see both Pawan Negi and Washington Sundar. It depends on how, Virat is a very instinctive captain, how much he believes in them. But both those guys have played for India. They're both fairly decent lower order batsmen who can whack it a bit and are good spinners.
But the question is in whose place, because Navdeep Saini has done well, Virat Kohli was very clear about that. Siraj too hasn't been bad, so in whose place?
I mean, Siraj is the only guy they can really replace, because otherwise the rest of it reasonably picks itself. They've held faith with Shimron Hetmyer, who still hasn't really given them enough to have faith in, but I think they'll hold on to it for another couple of matches. Look, I'm completely against also continuously opening with Parthiv Patel, because I believe Parthiv Patel is a stopgap opener. See, my logic is that if I'm batting, we all know that Parthiv Patel after the first 6 can't clear the field. Okay. Now you've given this guy a chance to bat. He's gone and given you 25, 30 runs. Now the 6th over is over. Now if he can't cross the field, then he has to get out. Now the next guy who comes in has to start from scratch, and he'll require another 4-5 balls to set himself. So your basic problem is that you're not giving the best batsmen in your side a chance to get set. Exactly what you talked about.
I would personally put Virat to open the batting and have AB de Villiers at 3. So my best 2 players are at 2 and 3 because you've got 120 balls. Why would you want AB de Villiers coming in at number 4 when he might not get in till the 10th over? So I wouldn't even look at the negative or the side of, oh yeah, but what happens if you lose a couple? Don't look. You look at the fact that you've got 120 balls. You want those 2 players in particular
to get the best chance
to face the majority of them. Put them at 2 and 3.